Boy, am I glad to be back. Welcome on in to Ask Him on episode 324, the series where I answer your questions. If you have a question or topic for next week's episode, leave in the comments section below. And I do mean next week. I'm tired of skipping weeks. In this episode, we're going to discuss LEGO's plans to stop making paper instructions, the 2025 Jango Fett minifigure, the lack of battle packs for LEGO Star Wars in 2025, and much more. So let's get into it with our first question from Insane Cup, who says, what do you think about LEGO maybe stop making paper building instructions? This has been a hot topic in the LEGO community ever since LEGO put on a poll on their VIP or insiders page, I think, asking people kind of how they felt about the idea of LEGO switching all of their physical instructions to be just completely digital only. So you wouldn't get a paper instruction manual in the box. The questioning definitely makes it feel like LEGO has thought long and hard about cutting this cost out of their business, and it doesn't shock me at all. It's super sensible that they would think about removing the paper instructions from the box. I mean, the Apple iPhone 16, this is my 15, I guess, but the Apple iPhone 16 no longer has the Apple sticker in the box, so I'm sure LEGO is looking to emulate that in some way, shape, or form. And frankly, from what I've seen, LEGO's gotten almost nothing but negative feedback on this, but part of me thinks it's not insane that in a board meeting somewhere they would have thought about this and discussed this. I do think it's kind of insane that they're now asking people about it. That means they if people said yes, they would do it in a pinch. They're ready. They would love to save even more money and keep increasing prices to make more and more billions year over year. That's kind of how I view this. Now, the reasons this is good, I guess, is it's apparently good for the environment to have less stuff. But obviously, the bottom line is it saves them a ton of money and shipping costs because it would make things way less. There's just a ton of benefits to them too. Now, the big drawbacks to this, I think, should cause LEGO to never even consider this again. This should never be a thought in anyone's mind at the company because you're selling a product that is supposed to appeal to anyone of all ages. It's kind of main thing in the mainstream, at least obviously LEGO has an appeal outside of this, but some people view LEGO as a way to get away from their screens, and they want to be just building in their own zone, listening to music maybe, with the little paper instructions flipping through, no screen light, no blue light, whatever is bad for your eyes. They want to be away from that. And so I think a large majority of the public, people, and parents buying for their kids don't want their kids on their iPad to, maybe be playing games instead of building Lego like they're supposed to. And so I think that's a big misstep there to get rid of that ability and just force people to build digitally. That's just not where people want to be. Now, it's obviously always been a great second option. It's great that the instructions have been uploaded online just in case you don't have a physical manual or you don't want to use a physical manual for whatever reason. I always think it's great to have both, but to get rid of one, I think would be asinine, and they just should never, ever even consider this again. This should be a non-starter. It'd be like LEGO being, oh, what if we got rid of minifigs to reduce costs so that you could have cheaper LEGO sets? That would be kind of the line of questioning of insanity that's akin to this to me. Also, on a personal level, as someone who can sometimes get LEGO sets before they're released and revealed, wouldn't it be impossible then to build the set? Maybe that's their real goal, the real motive behind it. Probably not, but it would be a very bad side effect that you literally, if you got a set before release date, which can happen because you buy it at Target, Walmart, etc., it just sets show up sometimes when they're not supposed to, then you can't build it. What a terrible customer experience. Or what if their servers are down? Or what if you don't have internet access? And then this isn't even considering, children and people that don't necessarily live in a place without easy internet access or device access. Speaking of things we don't have, Walter Bricks asks, from the rumored list for January 2025, there doesn't seem to be any battle pack. What are your thoughts on this? So not having a battle pack in the January wave, or really for the whole first half of the year, used to be a cause for concern. They released battle packs every January from 2007 to 2020. And then suddenly in 2021, there were just no battle packs in January, and it turned out the whole year there were no battle packs until they returned in January of 2022 with the Snowtrooper Battle Pack. And we've gotten a smattering of Battle Packs since, but not always releasing in January, which has been interesting. That's something that has really changed. Well, they did summer Battle Packs in the past. I'm getting a little off topic. The point is, no Battle Packs for the first half of 2025 as of the current rumors. I'm not surprised, anymore, because they've had years now where we just don't have a Battle Pack in the first half of the year, and then there's one or two Battle Packs in the latter half of the year. Last year, we had the 332nd Battle Pack release in August, so they clearly are much more flexible with when and where they're releasing Battle Packs in the LEGO Star Wars lineup at this point, and just taking a little bit of hopium here. What I kind of hope is that they're saving a lot of Revenge of the Sith stuff for summer, and that it will be a Revenge of the Sith battle pack. I'm really hoping for Galactic Marines, of course, because Galactic Marines are one of the clone troopers from that movie that have just never been made. I would rather have them than any remake of anything that we've already had, for the obvious reason that I'd rather have something that we haven't had than something we have had. But just simply trying to read between the lines and be hopeful as a fan. I'm hopeful that it just points to battle pack or battle packs coming in the summer and being Revenge of the Sith themed. It could also maybe point to an Andor themed battle pack, as Andor Season 2 will be releasing over the summer, I think, or later in the year. And so maybe because it's themed for that, it has to be held for the second half of the year. Like, it could just have no rhyme or reason, or it could be one of the things that I just mentioned where there's like, oh yeah, they had to wait. SkyKid002 says, does this mean I should sell my Jango Fett minifig right now? And this is a type of topic that comes up anytime LEGO's remaking or re-releasing a set or minifig, and I definitely think I have a great answer for you. And it's not black and white. It's not a yes or no answer, because it definitely depends on the type of collector you are. Now, if you haven't heard, there's a rumor for next year that the UCS set for May 4th will be Jango Fett's Slave One. Like, fantastic selection of a set. Like, super excited. Definitely something that I never thought they would make as a UCS set. I was actually more in the boat of them remaking Boba Fett's Slave One as a UCS set because of all of its recent appearances. So, this set comes with, apparently, a Jango Fett figure with arm printing. Now, the two Jango Fetts that we've had most recently in 2013 and 2017 didn't have arm printing. And even if they did, the figure in the new set would still have like a fresh, different armor design either way, so it wouldn't be a one-to-one copy. The 2013 and 2017 figures, in my opinion, will almost certainly go down in value because of the release of the new figure. Like, it's just a better version of what we already had, but it's still similar. I don't think you'll see the same effect with the original Jango Fett figure, much like we see Cloud City Boba Fett just continue to get more expensive and defy all logic, right? Like, there's figures like that, and then I think we'll see examples like the 2013, 2017 Jango Fett where the price should subside a little. Will they be worth $5? Probably not, but I don't know what their like current values are, but let's say it's worth 100, maybe, you know, and when the set comes out, it's worth 70 or something. If you are the type of person that only wants to have one of the character, then it makes all the sense in the world to sell what is effectively high on your older Jango Fett figure. Like, the figures from 2013 and 2017 almost certainly will be affected negatively as far as their dollar value goes because of the release of the new one. And so if your intention is to buy the new UCS Jango Fett Slave 1 and you only want to have one version of Jango Fett in your collection, then yeah, sell the old one. It makes no sense to keep it, save it, whatever. Get rid of it. The case for keeping it is a case like mine, right? Like, I'm not selling my Jango Fett figure today because, well, it's my one of the collection that's that figure from that set. You know, I have the 2013 Corporate Alliance Tank Droid, and I've got the 2017 Obi-Wan Starfighter with hyperdrive. I've got the accompanying Jango Fetts from those sets, and just because they're releasing a new Jango Fett doesn't mean I'm going to sell my old ones or think any less or different of them because there's a new, better version of Jango Fett. Well, I may think less of them if, you know, they're worse figures than the new one, but that's besides the point. I don't think there's a wrong way to go about it, and I hope you do what's best for you, and I hope that my answer was able to help you decide what to do. Stoic Hike says, touching on the Jango Fett rumor, do you really think they'll make a Jango Fett Slave 1, or will it be his starship / blast boat? I don't know where blast boat comes from. I remember there being some controversy surrounding the Boba Fett starship set with 75312. Correct. So back in the summer of 2021, LEGO made a new Boba Fett Slave 1 to go with the Book of Boba Fett show, or actually I think it was technically a Mandalorian set, but regardless, the set came out and it was named Boba Fett Starship. This was extremely puzzling to many fans who were used to LEGO exclusively calling Jango Fett Slave 1, or rather Boba Fett Slave 1, Boba Fett Slave 1. That's what it had been on the box of every set dating back to the year 2000. The true answer is that Disney asked LEGO not to call it the Slave 1 and to instead call it Boba Fett Starship, or I suppose they could have called it Boba Fett's Fire Spray or whatever other name. They just weren't allowed to call it Slave 1. The LEGO Star Wars designer, Jens, the guy that's in charge, literally said this. Like, that's the fact. It just absolutely will not be the Slave 1. I would basically bet my house on it. Grasse says, do you think they would remake the light up lightsaber minifigs in 2025 for their 20th anniversary? And I don't think so. I think the reason they were so short-lived to begin with was probably cost. It was probably difficult to manufacture, although I don't know that. I would assume it was cost-based to begin with, and we already see how much people complain about the prices of LEGO. Now imagine if they had to re-engineer light-up lightsaber figures, and they probably would be more stringent on like how it had to be done, you know, so that kids don't eat it or something stupid. And then imagine the boxes on those sets. Could you imagine the Revenge of the Sith boxes with the really ugly, please don't eat the batteries included in this set warning? Like, That would just ruin all of it. So like almost solely because it would ruin the box, I wouldn't want it. All of that aside though, I just don't see it happening. It's not something they've revisited since in the 20 years, and it's just not something I expect to really probably ever see again. Star Wars Fan 3 says, what is your opinion on LEGO using normal Sith eyes for Darth Maul in Rebuild the Galaxy instead of using the new revised ones they did for Maul this year? I mean, I think it pretty clearly shows how much better Darth Maul looks with pupils, you know? I think it's really great that they made him look good in the show. If that I guess that's my opinion on it. James says, how would you rate the state of Lego Star Wars at the moment out of 10, as in the sets that are out at the moment? So this is a hard one. There's a lot of aspects that go into this. There's a lot of things that Lego Star Wars, in my opinion, is doing right now, including like the selection of the sets, the overall selection of figures within sets as well. Like the characters they're choosing generally is pretty good and pretty on point, but then comes quality, and quality was, you know, seemingly was supposed to be first with Lego. For a long time it felt like it was, and it's fallen off a cliff. I mean, there's some good examples of great figures that they've released in the past few years, and there's some really scary examples. I would probably rate Star Wars right now like a C+, and maybe that, I don't know, there's some stuff that I think is just so bad it's hard to overlook. And then again, there's just some stuff that's so good it's hard to look past. I'd give it a C+. I think an 80, B- would really be pushing it for me, just given some of the overpricedness of some of the sets, some of the low quality given the price. Like, I could stomach all of the high price issues if it's just a perfect product. Like, you can look past all of that because you can understand. Zach the Maniac says, I have quite the choice to make within the upcoming months, UCS AT-AT or UCS Sail Barge. UCS AT-AT all day, every day. I like them both for builds, but the AT-AT is personally one of my favorite vehicles, and if it's one of yours, I would go AT-AT. Plus, you'll have like at least a couple years to buy the Sail Barge, so like, let's say you can scrounge together $850 now, maybe in a couple years you can get together that $500 for that Sail Barge, and then you have both. But if the AT-AT retires at the end of this year like it's supposed to, it doesn't really work out that way for you, because now you're going to need God knows how much more money to buy the AT-AT on the aftermarket. Dodger says, are you getting the iPhone 16? Also, are you one of those people that upgrade every time a new one comes out? So I had the iPhone 15 Pro. Now I got the iPhone 16 Pro. It's got a bigger screen, better battery life. I like the 16 Pro a lot. I think I'm actually pretty happy with this upgrade. I'm much happier with this upgrade than I was going from the 14 Pro to the 15 Pro. This feels much better. I partially rationalize my yearly upgrading by the fact that I vlog on my iPhone. I vlog on my iPhone everywhere I go, basically, you know, ideally 52 videos a year because I want to post it once a week. So like, in my head, that's how it's rationalized, and monetarily that's how it's rationalized because it's going to be used to make money on the vlog channel. And this year, they actually updated the wide-angle camera to be a lot better in low light, so that should look better on the vlogs, and I'm actually, like, that's something I'm particularly pumped about. There was, you know, I think back from the iPhone 11 to 12 or something, they updated the stabilization on the phone, like, pretty significantly, and that was a big thing for the vlogs that made them a lot better. So I think just some of those little things year over year matter. Having said all that, I know I absolutely could have lived without buying the iPhone 16 Pro and stayed with the 15 Pro. It's still a great serviceable phone. I just, yeah, I'm kind of hooked on that Apple stuff right now. It happens. So yeah, until I don't, I do upgrade every year. At least for the past few years, I've been upgrading every year. So yeah, I don't know. I may get flamed in the comments for being one of those people. Last question from EJ. He says, why does LEGO do this? In the new LEGO Star Wars special, Rebuild the Galaxy, they used a clone commander as a pilot. And when will LEGO make an actual Phase 1 pilot? I don't know when they're going to make a Phase 1 pilot. They've had some opportunities for sure, and it's been passed over time and time again. I would guess 2026 is the earliest now, because we got the ARC 170 coming out next year with the other types of pilots, and I just don't see it. But I really hope we get that finless Episode 2 style pilot sooner or later. Anyway, it was totally an Easter egg to the fact that one of the LEGO Star Wars designers said the clone commander doubles as a pilot for the UCS gunship.
One is a clone commander, which also doubles as the pilot of the ship.
That was definitely the gag there. And we know this because one of the writers, or both of the writers, are fans of actual LEGO Star Wars stuff. Like, they weren't just good writers for a kid's show or whatever, right? They were like fans of LEGO Star Wars, and so they knew some of the inside community stuff that, you know, you and I might know about.
So I've been well aware of Jedi Bob as just a member of that adult fan of LEGO AFOL community for years, and there was definitely a lot of, wait, who? Once I explained the history and how much fans would flip out if we were to do this, people got excited and on board.
And so that is something that might make that show really cool to someone like you. If you guys have a question or topic for next week's episode, leave in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you enjoyed Rebuild the Galaxy, hit the like button. I hope you did. I just haven't watched it yet. See you.